Hey, let's do some studies. We'll do some French. Let me make sure I have the French. Ah, there we go. Okay. So, if we're this is where we're at right here. They're talking about bishop d2, 94, 97, a3. Queen takes. Queen takes. F3. C takes D. Knight takes D. Knight takes E5. Knight takes E6. Bishop takes E6. Takes E5. Then knight C6. Next clam, bishop G there. And queen F6 with an equal position. Okay, let's do it. Hey, how you doing? Oops, I think. Oops, I did made a mistake there. There we go. And then here it is. Okay. We're doing the linear. How could F5 be played? Uh-oh. It's following down the wrong path. I went down the wrong path. Let's see, bishop takes C. Takes. Queen A5, okay, still good. Bishop takes. Bishop takes. Queen D2. Queen A4. Castles. Knight F5. Rook F, C1. And then castles is what Nick Defer calls even. Okay. B6. There's Harry. 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 There we go. Next one. Let's see, what's this? 5. There we go. There we go. Oops. Wrong one. B5. So B3 exclaim to potentially set up for C4. C5. C3. Knight C6. Well, it keeps the pin. It keeps this pin here. So it makes you have to react. It's a closed game, so you have plenty of time to maneuver. Not c5. Oops, sorry. Yeah, they'll have it there. b6. Instead of a3, he was going queen g4. Bishop f8. This is kind of forced to cover. Knight h3. Knight e7. Come in. Bishop g5. Knight bc6. Bishop b5. So he's like cross. This is not looking too good for black. I don't like black's position one bit. Castle, queens, let's see. Bishop d7. Castle, queenside. I really like white's position here. h6. Bishop b3. Oops, wrong one, not a6. Bishop e3. Now a6. This is kind of, we have to kick the bishops back. Trying to get a little bit of room for the knights and stuff. Knight f4. Queen b7. And I don't understand that. I guess that's just a hold on for, I think it's for castle and queenside. So like if something like this, let's say h5, I think what they're wanting is something like that. That's why the queen moved, was to get the king castle queenside. Excuse me. Bishop d7, d2, bishop b6, bishop b5, c6, a4, a5, and if he goofed around and played something like this, this would actually potentially win a piece here. So he can't goof around. He's got to play a3. Bishop takes. Bishop takes. Bishop a6. Bishop d2. Bishop b5 to get rid of this bishop. Bishop takes b5, takes queen g4, and then f5 of course to protect this. Let's do some Tarrasch, the main line. Let's see if we did a Tarrasch. Nope. Let's do some Tarrasch, French defense. Did I do that? Was there a Tarrasch mainline? I don't think so. Here we go. I'm not going to do any of the sub variations. I'm just going to go down the main line. Okay, because I want to learn some of the Tarrasch, get better. Tarrasch is always a fun opening. I do too. Say 5. This isn't the mainline Tarrasch, is it? I want to do the mainline Tarrasch. It's not the Tarrasch. Usually, it doesn't go C5. The Tarrasch. Yeah, this right here is the main type of the Tarrasch that we were gonna go over here. And then if you play something like this, let me make sure this here. Poison Pawn, Steinitz, Rubinstein variation, advanced variation. This is the kind of main line of the Tarrasch. I think the idea based on this here is that if you push, and then if usually F5 is played, and then C5, C3, knight here. This is usually the main line that comes out. I'm thinking you can actually take here. Let me make sure, because I know I'm going to go to the board editor and check out the Tarrasch French, see if I'm doing it right, because I don't want to teach it wrong. Let's see. French defense, burn variation, classic variation, exchange. Here we go. Okay, so this is the Tarrasch right here with this knight. Okay, then they have the burn variation. So it's just there's the French advance. This is oh, that's not actually, that's odd. This is the French. Then there's the advanced variation, which is usually played a lot. At club level. Let me see here. Exchange variation. Yeah, this has a lot of tactics to it. Then there's the Rubinstein with taking. Alright, and then there's the classic, I believe. Let me see. This is the classic variation of the French. So if it was me, and I was playing the French, I wouldn't go down the linear line. That's just way too complicated. I would actually go down more of a classic line like this, so that if bishop this goes towards more classic here. The burn line has an interesting setup. Like there's a whole bunch. Let me see here. Let's see, Trump-Hoskin. Here's the London system. Gotta love the London. Pure London. Yep. Alekhine Defense is an interesting one. This is Alekhine Defense. So this is more Tarish close variation. And at this point, you're gonna want to like play Bishop E7. He'll play like Bishop E2. You'll castle. He'll castle, and then you can break with F6. Or you could potentially play Bishop B6, and then if he plays here, F6. You can attack. And then if he brings over here, you could play there, there. And then at this point, you could even grab a pawn because of this pin. So that's an interesting line. We'll get into some puzzles. So let's do the puzzles. Alright. Then maybe we'll do a game. It's a little warm here today. want to check to make sure. Yes, we're live. Yeah, we kind of switched over a little bit. I wanted to ask, do you guys want to do reassess your chess tonight or practical endgames? Reassess your chess, 4th edition, or practical and practical endgame. No. Which one do you want to do? Do you want to do how to reassess your chess, 4th edition? Because I think this one is Jeremy Silman's most recent one. I think we'll do that one, and then we'll slowly. Oh, you want to do practical endgames? Okay. Because there's a lot of cool stuff that is in it. So he talks about imbalances, ABCs, and all that. We'll do. This has a lot of pawn. The reason I like this one, this had a lot of pawn endgame, which is you're going to experience more in club level, and you're going to experience also in a lot of over-the-board games. And especially since we have a really good understanding of endgame now from Jeremy Silman's endgame course, we can actually analyze it and do a good job on it. We'll do our 6, and then we'll do some endgame, and then we'll see how we do. How much time we have left, and then we may be able to do some more puzzles, and then we might even be able to do a Frank J. Marshall game too, which will be really nice. Oops, serial, good. So I forgot a piece. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yep, this should be it. There you go. Let's make sure that, let's see here. Excuse me. There's, well, that's not mate because of he can block. Oh, that's C4. Oops, sorry. Yeah, C6. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, that was my bad there. Got it. I got turned around there for a second. There we go. Let's do it to it. A boatload of pawns for black, but that doesn't mean that they're gonna win. All that means is they got a lot of material and maybe they overlooked something. And what's the puzzle? This is from the Pogar father. It's one of his puzzles. It's, oh, sorry, you're probably wondering what it's mate 2. That's what I should say. Let's see. See, if you played here, he's got there, so you can't do that. What I was thinking is here, but knight c7 check. The only problem is he can go to e5 and then nothing. So here. Do we have much of anything that we can do after that? No. Trying to fit this one. Some of these are straightforward, and then some of these are pretty complex. You have to understand that this bishop will want to control d7. So how do we, you'd have to think, how do we keep the control of d7 without any sitches? Let's see, knight takes. Rotates knight on e7. Rotates knight on e7. Boy, this is kind of a tough one here. It's mate 2 for white, so has to be a mate somewhere. I'm gonna make sure I put all my pieces right. Just give me a second. I might have made a mistake. No. Oh yeah, I forgot a bishop. That would help. I knew there was something awry here. Yikes. That really helps. Sorry, same position, mate 2. Now this really makes a difference. I don't know how I missed a bishop there. Yep. Yep, we did good there. Let's set up another one. This one doesn't have as many pieces on it. Let me see. I'll just go through it real quick. Good. Good. This is right now. So let's do it to it. Yeah, this one's a pretty fun one. This one's like straight right there. You can't miss this one. Yep. So mate 2. Now queen takes. Now what do you do? What's the mate in 1? Yep. Great job. Queen e5. Perfect. Queen. Make sure I got this right. Oops, forgot a pawn. So good so far. Good. Oops, forgot a queen. So one more shot. Yep. There we go. Queen takes. Takes bishop f4 is mate. Alright, great work there. Okay. We'll do some endgame and then we may be able to do a couple more puzzles. Let's do some of our practical endgame mastering basics. Okay. Okay. White to move. This is called close opposition. Closed opposition. So, what do you play for? What do you play for black here? If you're black, to save the game. Yep, you got it. And that would be a draw. Okay. Let's set up this. This is the basic endgame ones. Come on. Because this is what we studied in Jeremy Silman's endgame book. So it's black to move here. Oops. So what's the best move for black here? What's the best move for black here? You're black. Actually, surprisingly, it's e5. e5 is actually the best because the idea is c4, d6, and then d4 is it's kind of, I think you're right on that. You're right. This potentially would be, but the only problem is you still have opposition. So this is actually winning for white because of the ability. Let's say you played here, here. Let's say here. Well, here. Let me see. You'd probably have to come there. So let's check something out. Let's try something better here. Let's try better than that. Okay. And if he comes up, then we would actually come up to d5. So it's losing for black here. If it's black to move, it's losing. If it's white to move, it's a draw. So black to move, it's losing, and then opposition. You pass the opposition. Then when he moves, you come up here. If he comes up, then you come there. Now you pass the opposition back, and if he comes, you come, and then you come there, and now you have him stuck against the wall, and then he has to move, and he comes up, and then you have this. But if it was white to move, which we'll put the same scene, we'll do the same board editor, but we're going to change it to a white to move. At this point, this would actually be a draw, because when white tries to move here, black can play there. And the only way to make progress, yes, you could play here, and then after that he comes here, here you come back, you come up, you come over. So that's one way. And if you're thinking that this actually d4 does anything, same exact situation happens, and then it'll end up becoming a draw. And that's a draw. But if it was black to have moved, then it would have been a win for white. Those are the small differences that you have to get under your belt for understanding. Of endgame is vital. And now that this is white to move, I want to ask you, oops, I had to space it out. I didn't space it out. Sorry about that. There we go. White to move. I'm putting it in your corner. Is this a win? Let me put my pencil in here really quick. Just 1 second. Win or draw? Win or draw for white? White to move, win or draw. And if you're thinking it's a draw, give a line. If you're thinking it's a win, give a line, because we're learning endgame. King F8, okay. E. Perfect. Let's have it be, let's turn it to be black to move and see if it makes a difference. Is it white to win? Can white still win this, even though it's black? Even though it's black to move, can white still win this? And if how? And if white can give a line, it's black to move. That's actually 100% right. Great job on the first one. Yep, you got it. And then up the board they go. Nice. Okay. Now this one's going to be getting more interesting. This example right here is a little bit more interesting. These are just the basics that we went over with Jeremy Silman. This is from Jeremy Silman. This is this is from the Practical Endgame Play Mastering the Basics. And so it's black to move here. Black actually has two paths to victory. Black has two paths to victory. I think there's one that wins faster. You have to visualize both. You're black to move, and there's two ways to win. F3, King D, King D4, King C2, King E3, takes, and then takes, and you win. True. Let's see if we can find best results here though. Okay, here F takes, takes, there, and then F2, and he has to give way. So this is an interesting line too. I think this is one. If we go over F3, D2, D4, E1, E3, takes, King takes, F1, F2, King G, and then E2 is winning. There's also one other line that you can potentially go over, and it's actually King C5. Surprisingly, King C5 is an interesting line that could be playable. And if D2, you can actually go D4, King D4. think if we play here, there, I think that's a draw. So I'm thinking that we have to, let me see, play there. After here, I think C3 and then D2. What he's trying to say, they were saying that C2 is actually the move that they were talking about. Then King C4, King D2, King D4, King C2, E3, King D1, exclam at this point. This is an exclam mark. King D3, King E1, F3 at this point. Then King F1, E2, King E4, and then what do you think the move is that actually wins here for black? What's the exclam move for black? Yep, E4 is the exclam move. They stopped, I believe, at this point here. If King D2, we can actually play King F4, King E2, E1, King G4, King D2, King H3, King E1, and then King to G2. Because these two are covered, the king has to move back, and then we come in, and we actually can queen now. Now this one's a really fun one here that we're going to be going over. This one is. What? Hold on. Oh, okay. Well, this one, I'll show you this one. This one's a really fun one. Oops, I have to go right. I think this is it. Let me see. Oh, nope, right here. I got it. Oops, come on. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, it's white to move here. White to move. White has asserted victory because he can gain the opposition. Thanks to what move? How can white get the opposition? What move can white play to gain the opposition? Try it again. Try it again. Oh, I think you're right. Yeah. Wait a second. Oh yeah, you're right. I'm wrong. You're right. You're right. Yep. C5. Yep. Yep. That's right. That's funny. C6. Okay. Oh, E7. So okay, it's not E7, and then C6, and then E6. And at this point, now this is a crossroads. It's white to move. White to move here. Oops. Yep. You got that right. Then when he comes up, come on, E4. And now if he goes C6 and he comes there, we come up here, here, there. If he comes up, you have to come there. And then now if he comes up here, you grab the pawn. If he comes over here, you grab the pawn. Or what you could do is do this, come over here, so you don't give way. Grab this one first. So I wouldn't grab that first, because then he can actually come forward. I would actually go G6 first. Then when he goes G8, take the H6 pawn. After he comes back, then go G6, and then when he comes here, grab that F5 pawn at this point. And if he comes, then you can just move your king, even if you wanted to. Let's say he plays here. Now you can get these pawns going. And you get 3 pawns going. 3 pawns. So now we get into another interesting position. White to move. The first impression one we get from this position, the position is that of a draw. However, with basically observation and deductive reasoning, here the side to move does what? The side to move does what? And it's white to move. There's only one move that wins here. It's white to move. White to move. Do you remember the rule that Jeremy Silman talked about? This rule here. If the pieces are on if the 4 corners are the same color that they're on, then you have the ability that you pass the opposition to your opponent. If we actually went back and we moved here, it would then be our opposition. And so when we came up here, I'm thinking, let me see, is that right? Hold on, let me see something here. here, you would actually want to play there, sorry. E7. And then you'd want to keep it on opposite colors. See how there's opposite colors here? So that when here you push there, and now it's white to move. So yeah, you're right. So that's why E2 is an exclam move. He played King E7. Let's say he played King D8. What would you play at this point? White to move. White to move. He played King D8. The problem with King D2 is I think he gains the opposition here. He gains the opposition. If King E8, King D, King D7, King here, and then he passes the opposition. So what is the move here if he plays King D8? There's only one move that if he plays King D8 that works. Only one for white. You have to visualize and keep in remembrance. We don't want to be on the same color as the king. We want to be on opposite colors. One of these squares, we want to be on the opposite color that the opponent's king's on. You see how this here, he's on dark squares. So where would you want to put your king? F3. So F3, if you decided D3 or F3. Yeah, because then if he then what you can do is now you're on different colors. You see how you're on different colors, not the same color? This is called distance opposition. And then when they play E3, you then can come into D4 using a triangulation rule. Or if they play if they try playing E7, what you do is you wait for them to make a move. You play King D, and then when they either come in here, you play King D. When they come into E6, you play King E4. But if they want to move back and forth, we just stay with them. We don't ever approach, because if we approach, they get the opposition. If we ever approach our opponent, then they pass the opposition to us. Now this one is this one's an interesting one. We learned that's opposition, distance opposition, and how distance opposition works. Now this one is really interesting here. It's white to move, double exclam. Double exclam. White to move, double exclam. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to think about this one. Perfect job. King, that's actually the correct move. King D2. Can you see the other, this white to move exclam? There's one more move that doesn't exclam. White to move exclam. You found the first one. You found the double exclam. Can you find the single exclam? Yep, that's right. And then King D3, King H3, King E3, King G3, King D4, and then King G4, and white agreed to a draw at this point. Okay, now we did some end game. We're gonna go over a reassess your chess game here. Yeah. This is a we'll pull up another one. We're gonna do Topalov versus A. Kasran, Sophie 2007, and I'll show you the position that Wojcicki started, Jeremy Silverman started at the very beginning, and he teaches you about the positions. Okay, good. And I'll explain to you the advantages and disadvantages. And we're going to analyze. So this is Topalov's white and his opponent's black. C4, E6, knight C3, I think after E3 I pushed the wrong one. A7 and a 3, castles, castles, D5, A3, bishop D6, so he takes D, E takes D, then B4, knight BD7, and then B5, knight E4, and bishop B2, rook E8, A4, rook E6, knight E2, and then A5. And this is what it says: once you've read this book and fully integrated all the lessons, you will be able to give the following examples for the betterment for white and betterment for black. So white has advanced in space on the queen side 1. 2, black has potential weaknesses on C7. If black pushes C7 to C6 or C5, B takes C6 will leave black with a weak b6 square, or b6 pawn. Black's d5 pawn is weak since it can't be defended by any other pawn. 5. Black's only source of counterplay is on the king side. His bishop on d6, rook on e6, and knight on e4, and queen are all eyeing that area. Black's b7 bishop, which defends d5, is playing purely a defensive role. Black's dark squared bishop is giving firm support to c7, while also playing a key role on the king side for an attack. And then white's b2 bishop is inactive. Armed with the imbalance breakdown, it might strike you that exchanging white's worst piece for black's best would be a great idea. And so, with no calculation, plan, or future ahead, white would confidently play the move Topalov played. So what would you play here? So what move would you play here for Topalov? Oh, bishop a3, if you said that, you're spot on there. White forces the exchange of his worst piece for the critical important bishop on d6. So rook to c8, bishop takes, pawn takes. Of course, rook takes d was possible, but c7 would be a permanent concern for black, and so that's why he played c takes d instead. Rook c1 now to control the open file. D to f6, knight d f6, and then we play a really important move, h3. Now Topalov said, as you can see, all this is not about the conceptual lines, but about clear positional weaknesses. I knew that it didn't matter how long it would take me, but that in the end all the rooks would be exchanged, further highlighting the weakening pawn structure of black. Topalov, one of the greatest attacking players in the world, is making it clear that his course in this game isn't dependent on personal taste, attack, but rather on the direction of the board. A quiet build-up in accordance with the imbalance. So he played rook to e7, queen b3, h6, it's going to eventually run out of rules. See these, moves. Queen takes, and then rook c1, because the knight covers the rook. Rook c7, and then rook comes off the board, queen comes off, queen c2. And at this point, Topalov had to say this in regards to his position. That would result after the exchange of queens. I can chase away the knight on e3, transport my bishop to b3, and sooner or later I will expand pressure on the d pawn with two pieces and push my kingside pawns. Okay, he says, okay, there's no getting around it. This is clearly a plan. But he did use the strange system of the imbalances to create it. No, this is based on imbalances. That's what Jeremy Stoneman says. He will chase away black's knight via f2 to f3 eventually after the trades happen, f2 to f3. And then the knights would need to have advanced squares, thus he intends to turn a good piece, the black knight on e4, into an inactive piece. He'll aim his pieces against the d4 weakness, d5 weakness, sorry, and then he'll gain space on the king side by advancing his pawns there, which would give him yet another positive imbalance to work with. So king, queen e7, because his opponent knows if he trades off, it's just basically over. So queen c1. White's queen already controls the c file, but now it defends e3. This shows that White's intent is to chase Black's one active piece away from the using f2 to f3. Then when it gives up e4, we've then now he's conceded a huge amount of basically pressure for all purposes. Knight h2, king g7, h4. This gains kingside space, depriving the knight of g5. So now if this attack would come, it would come with a big time problem. The knight is actually trapped at this point because this square is covered, that square is covered, that square is covered, that square is covered, and that square is covered, and that square is covered. So all the squares, and this is blocked and blocked. So this knight is teetering on the edge of the abyss of basically being lost. Knight e8. This is the only move. Black has to give a spot for the knight to go to, and he has to actually make the f6 knight a passive piece for a long time. So f3, of course, the only move is to go back to with his e knight is to go to f6. So now what we do is, because we're now going to try to expand, we want to reactivate our h2 knight and potentially play knight d2, or after g4 play knight to g3 and try to bring more pressure down on black. So h5, rook f4. Now the pressure, not rook, knight f4. Now he's starting to put the pressure on. Knight d7. Knight c7 would allow, is not, that tries to get his knight to e6. Really doesn't anything but make his other knight passive. So he's trying to hold. Queen to e1. This is to prepare to bring the queen around. Knight f8. And this is, he wants to plop a knight on e6, and then potentially have that, and then e6. So queen g3. Now he's trying to trade off the bishop. So the queens, which will ease a lot of tension there. At this point, this is an interesting move here. Do you see the idea here? White to move, interesting move. White to move, interesting move. I'll give it to you. White to move, interesting move. What do you think the move is? Would you be surprised that knight takes h5 would actually be the move? Is that kind of surprising? But you are right. Chess 360. King f2 is a good move. Jeremy Silman said King f2, then taking the knight from from d2 after the king moves here to b1 to c3. He calls that a nice grind. Continue to grind and maintain the pressure. However, Topalov decided to up the ante in his opponent's time pressure. Can Black find all the right defensive moves with his clock rapidly clicking down to nothing? The rest of the game was nothing to do with our theme. It is given with minimum comments. So he took here. He did this to throw his opponent, yeah. And then wait a second, hold on, did I? Queen g8. f5, the only move. Knight g3, threatening to pick up I call it a puzzle rush or PR move, puzzle rush move. Knight g7 to guard that idea. Bishop takes f. It doesn't matter, we're coming crashing anyways. If you take, my friend, you're still gonna get a fork. So knight g6, bishop takes g6, king takes g6, knight takes h5, queen takes, check, king h2, then he plays queen e7, double exclam. Black cracks. He says under time pressure he makes a double question mark move, and play the best play was actually to have taken on d3 or d4 and winning, but he made a mistake under time pressure. Queen f7. One second. hold on. I did, let me see, what did I, 38. Oh, knight f4. Knight f4 check. King f6. g4. Okay, that's it. Now he's starting to build the wall. What are we discussing today? Oh, we're discussing how to reassess your chess. We're doing imbalances. This right here, he built a fortress wall here, the knights cover here, and the queen covers there. So he's one move potentially away of mate. So one move away from mate, not a good feeling. Especially when you Topoloff's your opponent, you're black and you're under that much pressure. f7, bishop d8 check, queen e7, queen g8, king f7, king d8 check, king e there, and then he plays bishop takes e, king takes, and king g3. Knight e6, knight e6 there, knight takes, king takes, and then f4. I like this one game that he played, bishop c, f5 check, king f7. Oops, wrong move, mouse slip. h5, bishop d7, h6, because now we've discussed that two pawns apart from each other, if they're on the fifth, protect each other. But they all have their moments of glory, so this is Topoloff's moment of glory in 2007. It says king g8, king f4, and then bishop e8. This bishop is going to be overwhelmed by these pawns. King g5, king f7, h7, king g7, queen, king takes, and then king f6. Bishop takes, b5, king e7, bishop d3, or not d7, d3, f6, f7, takes, king takes. And there's really not enough time to stop this from coming to pass. Let's see how we're doing time. Perfect. Okay. Alright. We'll do some more puzzles. We'll do some more puzzles now. Some mate and twos. Yep, exactly. get this one set up and then I'll be right back. I'll let you give it a shot to solve it. Yep. Be right back. There you go. Oops, sorry, I missed something. Hold on. Because that would have been mate in 1. That would have been mate in 1 on queen f7. So this is the only way to not have mate in 1. This one's a pretty fun one. Oh. Yep. You got it. You guys got it. Okay. Not sure. I know, but actually it's not mate. It's not mate. Because if he played here, he's got king b2, b7. It's not mate in 2. This is Kind of stumped at this point. Oh, wow. That was deep. Takes full board vision for this one. I had to get a little help because I couldn't find it. So this one takes full board vision. Full board vision. Do you have it? Or do you want a hint? We got two more puzzles. I checked that out. That one doesn't work. Right piece, just not the right square. Right piece, not the right square. Tell me if you want me to show you the solution. Yep, you got it. You got it. So that when takes here, it's mate. And then if king moves, yep, king moves, you just take and you win. Yep. But that one was a full board vision one. Full board. Yeah, that pushes your vision of the board to the max. And it shows us also one thing, that our opponents, that the position is there for us to actually win. The position's there for us to win. We just have to have the eyes to see it. Wow, this one's a really standard, straightforward one. Let's see if you can solve this one. Oops. There you go. Let's hope the next one's a little more, a little bit more difficult. Because that one was way too there. Let me make sure we have this. Oh. Interesting, nice. I'll have to look into that. I believe this is right. Yeah. Yep, this is it. Let's see how we're doing. Actually, perfect. We're ending perfect. That was the last of our puzzles for the day. So great. So do you have any questions or anything? Before I log off? 100 puzzles. That would be funny. That would be funny. Okay, I'll take that as a no. Okay. Well, okay. I wanted to thank you all for logging on, participating, helping out. You know, we're doing good. We're getting our end game under control. And as always, honoring the Lord with the gifts that He's given us in chess. He deserves. Jesus deserves all honor and glory. And so every long journey begins with one small step. That's what Yasser Sarah once said. And what we have to always remember to do is put on our Grandmaster tactic glasses. And then Bruce Lee said he didn't fear the person who practiced 10,000 kicks. I mean, who practiced individual 10,000 kicks, but he feared the person who practiced one kick 10,000 times. And he also talked about that the mind does have a plateau every once in a while, but we have to push through that and not and not allow that plateau to be our stopping spot. I always think of it as a plateau as a wall. We have a grappling hook, and we just have to keep tossing that grappling hook, and then we have to get enough strength to pull ourselves up and swing over, and onward to the path we go. That's kind of a plateau thing that I look at. Or you could look at it as some of those flat things like this that you can't. A good example one is Mickey, Goofy, and Donald when they're doing Jack and the Beanstalk, and they have to climb the giant steps when they're to go in and get food and stuff. That's kind of the plateau. We just have to climb up to the next plateau. And then don't give up, get up, and remember that to treasure your victories and learn from your losses. You remember that mistakes do not define you. It's how you handle the mistake that defines you. And Bruce Lee also said that you have to take what you know and apply and be willing to do something with it. But in the end, it's all about what you think. What do you do the majority of your time on? And that'll be what you become. That'll be how it affects your chess in every area of your life. If you honor the Lord with the gifts that He's given you and spend the time, like helping others and doing stuff like that, and then honoring the Lord through that, then you know what, you're going down the right path. So, and let me see, I think that's, I always like the little engine that could's one. If you think you can, you will. If you think you can't, you won't. Either way, you're right. That's a really good one. And it eventually comes down to the chess cruncher mentality. Are you going to hang up your coat? Are you going to hang up your hat? Are you going to sit down and study when most won't? A chess cruncher does, and that makes all the difference. Not to say that you're always going to win, but it gives you a better opportunity to be victorious. And as Wesley So says for the Lord Jesus, as I say, God bless, and I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, evening, and Lord willing, I'll be back on tomorrow. And we'll keep pushing forward and onward and upward. Great job. Go Team Chess Cruncher. Hoorah. Be blessed. And remember what Hannibal Smith said. Hannibal Smith said he loves it when a plan comes together, but he said a good plan is a plan that you know what your opponent's going to do. You have them directed the way you want them to, and you always keep your plan in the back of your mind to implement it so that both of them meet up together. And then we get to say this: I love it when a plan comes together. Great job. 2 thumbs up. Hoorah. Be blessed. Honor the Lord with your talents and gifts, and think upon Him. Bye bye. Be blessed.